Hey friends, welcome back. It's Saturday, our live Q&A here at Stretch Sheet. Look at how cool I am with my little banner. I'm getting so technologically savvy. Just you guys wait until you see how technologically savvy, because today I want to talk to you about my new flexibility assessment. Now, this has been on my mind for quite some time. I've really been like racking my brain trying to figure out like how do I allow you guys to understand the different levels that you go through before you're actually able to perform at your highest capacity. And so I put together a full workshop of assessment for resistance stretching, and it comes with a 40 something page ebook that it's actually like mostly a progress journal. So don't get too excited. It's not like I wrote a manifesto or anything. It's just a bunch of forms, but they're awesome. And what else is in there? A 1 hour resistance stretching assessment video where I walk you through all the stretches. But also, this is the coolest part. And I really, I'm super excited to show you guys this. The first thing is these step ladder goals. And so a lot of times, come over here so you can see my face too. A lot of times people think that flexibility is an on or off thing. Like it's just an on or off switch. And it's really not. It's more like a progression. And I would say that the first step, and this is kind of down here at the bottom of the ladder, is just to feel safe in your own body. So many of us put ourselves through the ringer of flexibility training without really paying attention to what you're feeling. And a lot of times your body is telling you that it is not safe. It's very, very unhappy. And that's not really cool. Like, you know, what an unhappy body. And to be honest, if your body is feeling pain, it's not going to release the tension. And so many times we think that a flexibility program has to be really intense, like super painful, or like grunting through, or, you know, that you have to be in a lot of pain. But often your body's just telling you, like, no, this is not the thing that I need right now. But it will tell you what it does need if you learn how to listen. So the first step that I try to get my clients through is this bottom tier of the ladder of feeling safe. Now, what does that really mean, right? What is that? What does that mean at all? Well, when we do resistance stretches, we want to make sure that everybody feels really safe in the range of motion that they're working in, right? So, say you have frozen shoulder, right? And if I'm teaching a stretching class and I'm trying to show you, oh, I look a little crooked today. I apologize for the crookedness. I think the camera's kind of twisted like this. Anyway, if someone has a frozen shoulder and I'm teaching this stretch, they can't do it. They can't do that stretch. If they try, they're going to be in pain. And so the goal would be in that feeling safe tier of the ladder to find out where you are safe in this stretch. The same would go for people who are recovering from rotator cuff injuries, or people who pulled something funny, or, you know, had an injury or that sort of thing. And the first step would be, do you feel safe? And how can you feel safe? So in a resistance stretch, sometimes starting somewhere in the middle is the best place. Add a little resistance and see if that feels safe to you. If it does, if there's no pain in that position, then you can move in a range of motion that's like this big, okay? That's the bottom tier of the ladder. And I know that for some people that's really hard for them to understand, because they're like, it hurts when I go like this, and they keep pushing it up there, right? You're going, oh, right? I see it all the time, and I'm like, stop, don't do that, because your body does not want to be in pain. And every time you take it into a place of pain, it creates some sort of reroute, a compensation pattern, a plan B. It's like if the road was closed, you would go on a detour, right? So your body will create these detours for you so that instead of your arm coming up this way, you kind of shimmy your way around to get there, right? This is not the shirt today for it. It's laundry day. That's why I'm wearing my super teal pants. But here's the cool thing. So if you play around with that and you can see, okay, here's my small range of motion. I can feel safe there, then you know that you're okay and your body starts to learn how to trust you. Now, this is a really interesting idea because people think a lot of times also that they have control over what their muscles do. And you actually don't. You have control over the movements you make. So you may decide to move your arm up like this, but your body will decide whether you move it up like this or whether you move it up like this or whether it goes, your muscles make that choice. It's not a conscious choice. So if you've created a compensation pattern or if there's some sort of pain response coming, that's your muscular body making its own mind up, right? It's making its own decisions. There's no conscious control of that, okay? You can't posture yourself into it. It's not something that happens consciously. So what you need to do is make sure that your muscle mind is talking to your conscious mind and saying, okay, what you are telling me to do, I feel safe doing, so I'm going to let you do that, right? If you are contrasting there, like if your muscle mind and your conscious mind are not on the same page, like if your conscious mind's like, I'm going to push all the way up here, and your muscle mind's like, I am not going to do that, then it will just create more problems. And so this is where the real problem with flexibility training comes in, that absolutely drives me insane, is that people think that ripping through tension or holding a pose for a really long time and just breathing into it if you're uncomfortable is going to make a difference. And it doesn't. It doesn't at all. If anything, it takes you like 12 steps backwards, right? It's not helpful because your muscles have their own system of communication and it has nothing to do with your conscious mind. Okay, so my goal for you guys from this very beginning is to be able to get you into the place of listening to your body so that you can decipher those messages from your muscular mind, right? It's absolutely amazing when you can do it. It's absolutely amazing. So that first step is just feeling safe, right? And that's what my Core Stretch Sheet 101 is all about. Starting you from the beginning, just getting you into movements and figuring out like what your actual range of motion is, kind of playing around with some very easy dynamic stretches, and then very slowly moving up to the next tier on the ladder where you start learning resistance stretching. And that in itself is its own piece of a new puzzle because resistance stretching is amazing, innovative, transformational. It's very different than static stretching or any other type of stretching that you would do. So if you're doing a resistance stretch, you move and you add resistance the whole time. So I'm pushing up and I'm coming down and I'm working within that safe range of motion. And as I do that, I start to build some strength in the muscle. And as I come into the resistance stretch, I'm actually pulling the muscle fibers from the inner parts of the muscle in a very safe way. My body's in control the whole time, so I'm never going into a deep range of motion, right? So you just keep moving in a very easy way, just like this. And eventually it starts to increase. The range of motion will start to increase. Over time, your muscles will start to adapt because we're adding a load onto that muscle, very similar to strength training. So like if you want to become stronger, you add a load to the muscle. If you want to become more flexible, you also add load to the muscle. Stretching without any resistance at all, passive stretching or static stretching, isn't a long-term effect. There's no adaptation in that place. It does give you short-term results, but those results only last for about 24 to 48 hours typically. And then they just creep right back in. That's the technical term of it, is creep. The muscles just creep right back to where they were before. And there's absolutely no benefit to static stretching except for that short-term release that you might get. Sorry for all my tea today. I'm a little raspy. It's my allergies, so many allergies. I've been getting shots and I have this huge bruise. Is it on this arm? It's on this arm. A huge bruise on my arm. So from the shots, it's fantastic. I can't wait to be done with them because then I'm not going to have any allergies at all. None. Can't wait. Okay, so then what's the next step on the ladder? Well, the next step up is problem solving. And I believe, let's check. Yep, it's problem solving. So here's the next thing that's like blows my mind still after 15 years of teaching resistance stretching and nearly 20 years as a client of resistance stretching. Problem solving still absolutely blows my mind. It's like the magic of all of this. It's just amazing. So, what happens with problem solving? Well, let's look. So, I did my assessment yesterday. And I know we've done a lot of this already on here, but I just want to show you guys that my assessment, it's not as pretty as yours will be. Oh, let me switch that. Because my printer is out of color. So it doesn't have it's not so pretty. And it's also got music on the back. It's some sort of Irish jig, I think. So basically what I've done is I've gone through and done all of these. This is my left arm assessment. I've gone through and done all of these stretches and then rated them on a tiered chart. So here's the chart. Check this out. So when you do these stretches, it's really cool. You can look at this assessment chart, this assessment guide, and listen to what your body's telling you. Now, the worst case scenario, I rated it as a 10 because the higher the number is the more barriers that you have to remove, right? So the biggest barrier would be like you're in the fear barrier and that's where you're like, I'm just going to watch this, and then it gradually gets less and less anxious. Now, it's not your mind being anxious, it's your body, your muscles being anxious. You can be calm and collected. You could be like, I don't know what's calm as there's a word, calm as a clam, I want to say, but I don't think that's true. Anyway, you could be super calm and still have like a lot of anxiety in your muscles. And you can have certain muscles that don't have any anxiety in them at all, and other muscles that are like really freaked out, right? So a 10 would be like, I'm not even going to do that stretch. Like, I'm not even going to do it. I'm just going to watch. And as it moves down, it moves from like, I feel frustrated and confused to, I don't really feel safe, but I'm doing the move, or I have pain, or I'm cramping, or I'm feeling it in the wrong place, or I feel nothing at all. And then the top levels, which is when you're at the lowest levels of barriers. So like a 1 or a 0 is basically like, I can do this stretch, but I don't have the range of motion that I want, or this stretch feels fantastic. And what my hope is for everyone, and for my own body too, although my body changes and adapts and does weird things every day, depending on how much I'm working out, or how many clients I'm working on, or how much music I'm playing, or how, you slept on the couch or something, then you start to move up on the ladder a little bit and your muscles are like, I don't know today, right? So my goal is for my entire body to be at 0. Now I'll show you my assessment again. Let me close this one down. And you can see that my deltoid, which is the one we were just working on, was at a 4. That one right there. So it's a 4. And a 4 on the list was, wrong one. It feels good, but I feel it everywhere. Right? It's fine, but really you would want like a pretty perfect stretch, like a stretch that feels really good. So I figure it'd be nice today, just since we started with the deltoid there, to go ahead and problem solve through our deltoid muscle and see if I can get it to the next level on the list. So problem solving is here. And then once you can problem solve and everything's working at a higher level, then you're at the build-up stage where you can start building strength and flexibility. Okay. From there, it actually is a mind-body connection thing where your brain and your muscles are talking to each other really well. You're very body aware. You can make the muscles work in a really like positive and I don't want to say positive because it's not like your muscles are like, I feel like I'm a happy person. No, it's like your muscles are working in a very efficient way. They're not taking the detour anymore. They're going straight where they're supposed to go, and it's perfect. And then the last level where you're at a 0 is when your body is working at its prime. That's when you're able to perform your best. And it doesn't matter whether you're performing as like a professional athlete, an Olympic athlete, a recreational athlete, a person just walking around, somebody who wants to be able to play with their kids or even with their grandkids, or somebody who just really would love to be able to walk without pain or sit through a meeting without pain, right? So let's do it. Let's fix my left shoulder. And if you guys have any questions, or if you want me to work through any of this with you, then go ahead and put it in the chat. Also, if you're here watching, if you're here live, say hi. Let me know who's here because I don't know who you are. I just see that some people are here. I'm excited that you are. And also here, I'll put in the chat right now. Here is the link to this flexibility toolkit that I've been working through. It's totally free. It's completely free. You just go to my Thinkific page. It's a course builder. So it gives you a lot of, the ability to watch the videos, to download all the forms, but then also it'll send you, it should, if everything works properly, in a month, it'll send you the assessment again so that you don't even have to remember to take it. Okay, it'll just send it to you and then you can see how you feel. All right, so I'm ready. Let's problem solve my deltoids. Here, let me just switch the camera back, ta-da. And if that angle is driving you crazy, let me know and I'll fix it. I'm okay. I can totally fix it. So first thing I'm going to do, remember it was my left shoulder. Now we're mirrored. So this is my left side. It probably looks like the right to you. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and try this deltoid muscle. And the first thing I want to do is just make sure where my range of motion is, where I feel safe. Now I start to feel a little tension up here. And usually I'm much better with this. So I'm noticing where I feel safe here. And then I kind of want to pay a little bit more attention to it and see what I'm feeling. So as I come up here, I'm feeling a little bit of tension in my elbow. I'm feeling something up here in the top of my shoulder, which makes sense, but like not in a good way. It feels kind of almost like a painful, like a tweak right in here. So I don't want to hang out there. It's not a 0. If a stretch is a 0, I'll hang out there, right? But anything else is like, no, let's problem solve it. Let's fix it. Let's make it better. Let's make it a lot better, okay? So the next step in problem solving is to go to the other side here. And you guys don't have to know this. It's in all my videos, right? you have all those resources. So if you want to problem solve your body, that's actually what all of Stretch Chi 201 is all problem solving. So Stretch Chi 101, you actually build your I wonder if it's my math that's crooked. I don't know. Anyway, you build your foundation in Stretch Chi 101, and then in Stretch Chi 201, we problem solve everything and learn like harder muscles through it. It's really fun. Stretch Chi 301 is all yoga poses deconstructed, and that's what I'm filming right now. It's amazing. It's super fun. It's really fun, and I can't wait to teach 401. That's all like mind body stuff. So that's like the high level, and I'm excited about it, but I'm still in 301 right now. So I'm going to stretch my lats. So to do the lat stretch, you bring your arm up so that your elbow's pointing up towards the ceiling and grab your elbow with your other hand. And I'm going to pull with my arms like this and trying to pull apart. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test, like, am I safe here? And I feel fine. I feel good in this position. And then as I start to pull, I'm going to go nice and slow for the first couple reps so that I can feel what's going on here. And I feel a really great lat stretch. So that's fantastic. Okay, I feel it from my armpit all the way down to my hips. And when I did this yesterday, my lat stretch was a 0, which is the best. It's like the most amazing. A lot of times, the muscle that's going to fix all the problems is the one that feels the best. But sometimes we have many layers to go. Right? It's like your body like builds up compensation patterns like an onion, just like layer after layer after layer after layer. So I'm going to do a good amount of these because it does feel good to me. So I'm going for like 10 of them probably. And you can try it too if you want. Go for it. I think I'll do a few more. I'm just trying to find the tension as best I can and remove it, okay? Because a lot of times it's not the deltoid, the top of the shoulder, that's even the problem, right? There's something else that's like keeping me from being able to release here, okay? So the next stretch I'm gonna do is for my pecs. Now on my chart, I call this pec major 2 because we actually have 2 pec muscles that we work on. We work on one that's like a push up and one that's more like a pull through. So I'm gonna go to the wall and do that stretch. So I just got my hands here on the wall, and I'm gonna try to pull my arms down towards the floor. And then with that resistance, I'm gonna bend at my hips and pull through. It is my mat that's crooked. Makes me dizzy. All right. So I'm just gonna pull up and down. Now this one, well, my sheet before was a 6. So now I'm listening to my left shoulder. I'm stretching both, but I'm listening to my left shoulder. And I am actually feeling like it wants to pop, it wants to adjust. So I'm gonna come out of that. And now I'm gonna restart my problem solving because I'm like, okay, I know that I had one problem in one place, and now I have this one here. I kind of want to address that one because I know once I open this up, the others are gonna let go too, okay? So I'm gonna go to my rotator cuff because I was working on the pec here. Now I'm gonna go to the back of my shoulder. So I'm gonna put my hands together and bring them over my head, and then I'm gonna squeeze my elbows like I'm trying to pop a balloon. Now yesterday when I did this stretch, I put it down as a 1 or 2. Where is it? A 2, because I couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel the stretch. Today I can feel the stretch. So today it's a 1, which is great. And so I'm just squeezing here. Feels good, actually. It feels really good. All right, then I'm gonna go back to that stretch on the wall and see if it's better. So I'm just gonna pull my arms down towards the floor, but the wall stops me, and bend at my hips to bring my head through. It's a totally different stretch now, and it feels great. So this stretch was a 6, and it just went from a 6 to a 0. Do you see how easy that is? Sometimes people are like, no, I'm in too much pain. And I'm like, you can fix it sometimes in just a second, just a few seconds. I mean, that was maybe, 2 minutes at the most? And so I'm gonna do a lot of these because it feels great. My shoulders are happy. And one more. All right. Actually, I'm gonna grab my pen because I'm gonna take note on my chart what's happening here. So we got my rotator cuff to a 0. I got my pecs 2 to a 0. And now my deltoids, it's time. It's time to fix the deltoids. So I'm just gonna bring this arm into the side, my left arm in. I'm gonna grab at my wrist, and I'm pushing up for strength, and I'm gonna pull down for my stretch. And when I get to the bottom here, I bring my neck over actually to my right side to get a neck stretch. And the pain is gone. There's no more fear there. It actually feels pretty good. Little bit fatigued. There's a little bit of that there. And I am feeling a little bit under my arm here. So still feeling something different. Now here's what's interesting. If I go back to this guy, now before my deltoid was a 4, it was good. I felt it everywhere. Now I'm at this place where it's a 3. It's good, but I feel it elsewhere. It's very specific that it's a 3. And where I feel it is under my arm. So what I'm gonna do is stretch my lats again. Okay, so I'm coming back here. And my lats, they feel good. Everything's fine. I'm happy to do this stretch, right? It feels good. It's a 0. And like I said before, sometimes the stretch that feels the best is the one that's going to cause the biggest effects. But sometimes you just have to move some layers around, right? Just got to do some extra things. I'll do one more, and then I'm going to try my deltoids again. All right, so up for strength, down for stretch, my head to the right. That's it. There it is. It feels great. It feels great. I love this stuff, you guys. I know I'm always telling you. But I do love it. Now there's one other stretch that could make it even better, and that's the back of my shoulders. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that one out too. We call this one the L closers because you put your arm up like an L, grab it on the outside, and you open and close just like this. So you open for strength and close for stretch. And that goes into the back of the shoulder. Yesterday, this one was a 3. Today it feels pretty good. Maybe a little fatigued. Maybe a little. It's like kind of up in here a bit. Okay, so that's another one that I can problem solve. See, isn't this amazing? It's like this little, like a puzzle, and you're working your way through the puzzle. Now, the courses that I have will get you through this, okay? Or you can work with me one-on-one where I just like walk you through all the problem solving, just like that. I take you on I know the treasure map, right? I can figure out the map. So I'm gonna go to the wall here and do a couple push-ups. This is gonna get my pecs in a different angle than what I was doing before. So this is the pec 1 stretch on my worksheet. Did we take off? I did take off the worksheet. Cool, cool, cool. And so I feel this stretch across the front of my shoulders. And so I'm just lowering myself slowly to the wall. And as I do that, it's just a resistant stretch. It's actually really easy. Whew. I shake a bit there at the end. This one yesterday was a 6, and today, totally fine. It's a 0. So even just doing the stretches from yesterday or some of these problem-solving ones really helped. Definitely. Okay, now let's try this one again. I'm gonna open up to the left and pull across to my right. I'm still feeling it in the front here a little bit. So that's another, like, I'm feeling it elsewhere. So it's still working through. So I'm gonna do a stretch for my pec minor muscle group. It's a tabletop stretch. So I'm gonna bring my fingers behind me, my hands behind me, and point my fingers towards my feet. And then I'm gonna push up for strength, or up for my stretch, sorry. And then as I come down, I'm strength training the muscle because I'm actually pulling with my arms to try to bring my body back down. All right, so I just go up and down just like this. I feel both stretches in the front of my shoulders. It feels really good. So it's kind of this swinging motion and pulling my arms actually this way. And I'm using my hips to create the resistance stretch, okay? And I'll do one more. And then I'm gonna go back to the back of my shoulder here. So I'm gonna open up and close. It feels great now. Feels really good. Whew. So I'm at a 0 there. That's awesome. So I'm just gonna mark those down. So my assessment form for my left arm has gone from yesterday's assessment, a 24, down to a 3 now. I have one more I need to clean up. That's it. And it's for my deltoid. So let's go for it. So lifting here and down, and I'm gonna bring my ear over to the right. I've got a great stretch now. Oh, that's a nice one. feels so good. It's very different. It's tired, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna do as many as my arm wants to do until I feel it's productive, and then I'm done. So you see, friends, where is that one? So that one's now at 0. Look at this. So this is seriously just one day. And all I did was stretch yesterday in my assessment and then did some problem solving today for, gosh, I've talked to you a bunch. It's only been a half hour. So how long do you think that really took? Like maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. And I've moved up the ladder. So now I would say that this is probably, kind of in the performance stage. I would feel comfortable using my arms to do anything that, it needed to do. Like I would feel safe working out. I would feel safe doing, playing a sport or playing music or, it's the simple things like picking up a kid or like, I don't know, doing the dishes, even folding your laundry. Like there are things that people can't do because their arms hurt. And it's actually sometimes a really, really easy fix. So that's pretty amazing, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed kind of walking through this. Be sure to check out the Flexibility Assessment Toolkit because I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited, and I'd love to hear how you're doing with it. Okay? All right, my friends. That's it for today. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.